pull that up. This is going to be a story about two hearts. I own the copyright to these drawings. Any copying will be soundly punished. They cane people in Thailand. I thought that it would be very important to understand this marriage, which a lot of people don't understand. You have to know about the fundamentals, Chrissy and Deke. Right?
I'm so afraid.
A lot of the fundamentals have already been stated.
Stick to the straw. Stick to the straw.
You cannot know, Chrissy, you cannot know Deke without seeing the influence of the parents involved. Okay? A lot has been said about the parents. I think we can imagine my mother sitting here with a Budweiser and a straw on the side of her mouth, big gleam in her eye, big smile. We can hear the echoes of Tony calling his daughter by the sweet nicknames that fathers reserve for their daughters. Lil Bit, Ishkabidi, or Ishkabibi, Segunda, Filia, second daughter.
You did your homework.
That's right. I had a great coach. Where's Regina? Great coach. My father had sweet nicknames for his three sons. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. You need your head examined? That was my favorite. We survived. We survived. We're here intact. My mother was the balancing factor. She put the fun in dysfunctional. Now, I think it's also important to remember family, to remember friends, remember the friends that couldn't make it here, the boyfriends, the girlfriends that couldn't make it. Before I get into the body of my toast, I want to do an impression. Of course, there has to be an impression. This is my impression of Chrissy's former boyfriends upon hearing the news of Chrissy becoming engaged to Deke.
Sour grapes.
Sour grapes! The bitter taste of disappointment. Well, move on to the next slide here. I wish I had PowerPoint. Don't read anything into this yet. I want to thank the friends of Chris and Deke. Oh, no, wait, I screwed that up. The friends of Deke and Chris. I'm sorry. That's better. This is PG-13. So, friends of Deke and Chris. Sorry about that. It's on a video. We'll edit that out. Okay? I want to ask you all to consider the question. It's a literal question, but for those who are into the metaphysical, I can levitate like David Blaine. Why are we here? Why are we here? Some of you may think we're here to celebrate a wedding. No. Many of you have had the experience we've been offered in the mail an opportunity to go to a nice resort location, beautiful resort, provided that you sit and listen to a sales pitch about a timeshare condominium. This is one of those pitches. We're here to offer stock in the latest merger on Wall Street, Chrissy Corp. And Deke Private Limited. I'm not asking you to invest dollars or yen or pork bellies, mortgage-backed securities. I'm asking you to invest EC. Slide, please. This share offer is available today. Terms and conditions apply. EC stands for emotional capital. All of you coming here today are expected to invest your emotional capital in this relationship to make sure that it is a sustained, productive, and very, very loving relationship. Next slide, please. Chrissy is the #1 part of this deal. Without Chrissy, the deal doesn't work. Now, I want to do a little linguistic analysis from Noam Chomsky of MIT. Chrissy is listed on the New York Stock Exchange as B-U-O-N. What does that mean? Chrissy Bonacore, if you split the word, buon corazzone. In the Italian, good heart. Good heart. I can't imagine a name that fits a person better than Good Heart. Excellent. That's just the intangibles. We want to talk about fundamentals here. Let's look at the numbers. Chrissy's IPO launched May 22, 1973. She rocketed out of the gate. Mathematical genius, solving Rubik's Cube at age 4 in 16 seconds. Crossword puzzles. Reading Us Magazine, People Magazine, left and right hand in the bathtub. Text messaging, doing all this at once. The stock kept going. Here we see in the late 1990s, the performance just continued. This is what we call in the business a blue chip performer. The analysts rate her as a strong outperform. Accumulate this stock, ladies and gentlemen, before you have no further choices. There's one blip on the radar screen here. This was on New Year's Eve, 1998, in Hoboken, New Jersey, 11:45 p.m., December 31st. Chrissy made a very wise decision. The stock almost tripled in value that night. She resisted a very weak overture on the part of yours truly for a New Year's kiss. I got the handshake. The Heisman. A firm handshake. If you don't buy this stock, you're crazy. Let's talk about the shaky side of this merger right now. One, Daniel J. Kelly, New York Stock Exchange, Deke, call sign Deke. I tried to do the same linguistic analysis. I Googled Kelly. Got nothing. I did it in Celtic, I did it in Gaelic, I did it. The best I could come up with, metrosexual. He had his nails done before this wedding, I guarantee you. Hey, he's very comfortable with that. Thank you very much. Very comfortable. Deke's stock chart is a mess. It looks like a California seismograph. His stock limped out of the gate January 6, 1972. Now, there's a lot of parallels between these stock offerings. Chrissy's stock was launched in a city with one syllable, Bronx. Deke's stock was launched in a city with one syllable, Scranton. He was born afflicted with asthma. This is serious now. This is serious. He was a little boy in a bubble. Couldn't breathe. Couldn't breathe. The stock suffered for 5 years. Underwater. Investors weren't happy. They brought in the medical community. Medical community suggested to the primary caregiver, the mother, if you stop breathing Winston cigarette smoke up his nostrils, he will recover. The stock performed immediately on that medical advice. Climbing to heights reached by Google. 1990, he won the Connecticut State Wrestling Championship, 103 pounds. There were no Ethiopians allowed into Connecticut at that time, so he was the 103-pounder. 1991, accepted to Fairfield University, a decision which affected the rest of his life for the better. For the better. There's some momentary blips there on the screen we won't go into. It's not an appropriate forum. I've set up a website, www.dekeandchrissy.com. You can consult all the facts about all the history in college. In 1994, we had a problem. The stock tanked. It was like Black Tuesday all over again. What was the coinciding event of the stock tanking? Well, I came for a visit, which was an overnight, uninvited guest, and I stayed for 5 years. The stock was underwater 5 years. No one would touch it. You couldn't give it away. Free bowl of soup. No one was taking it. Another momentary blip here. Stock took a nosedive in 1998. It was a failed investment. Deke was struggling. He was desperate. He decided to invest in a new partner named Andrea from the plot in, ladies and gentlemen, Scran. The first date didn't go so well. Standing room only show at the Phantom of the Opera. Took her to Carmine's on West 46th. She was in the habit of saving half cigarettes. You have to know the plot. You know, some people have Jenny from the block. Deke's got Andrea from the plot. She would spit on the palm of her hand and put the cigarette out and save it for later. This endeared her to the staff of Carmine. Meanwhile, she was wearing a Phantom of the Opera mask the entire night. This is a true story. True story. This stock was almost delisted, right? Slowly, I mentioned, this is a story about two hearts. Where's the second heart? It's a good heart. Well, remember, the unintended consequence of Deke having asthma was he had to struggle to breathe. And what happened was, when you struggle to breathe, your heart beats 10 times harder than the average human. Your heart becomes very strong. It's like Lance Armstrong without the testosterone or whatever he's taking. Okay? So Deke's heart, as a result of being afflicted with asthma, grew to be 2 times the size of the ordinary human being. So he has a huge heart. It manifests itself in many ways. One of the most generous people I've ever met in my life. Took me in. I was home. I was living in my car. Took me in. He had cable. It was great. It's fantastic. Despite the generosity, the stock was still underwater. He had to climb out of this hole, so he divested himself of me. I moved out. California, Thailand, as far away as possible. And the stock now has climbed back into the high-performing region, which brings us here to today. Excellent. The consulting firm of Kelly, and Petrie, after considered due diligence, we've come to a recommendation of strong buy recommendation on this stock, a merger of 2 Wall Street darlings. The offer is open-ended. Investments of emotional capital are accepted any time. And to close this deal right here, right today, I want to close it with a toast to Chrissy, she of the good heart, to Deke, he of the slightly enlarged heart. May you live long and prosper. That's right out of Star Trek. With the collective emotional capital everyone here has in their hearts for you today. Enjoy it, live it up, and make something happen, baby. All right.